Whoa. It's a truly humbling experience to actually be here, and it's a huge privilege to be here also. It's been a long journey coming here. There's this kind of myth that money speaks, and it's kind of ironic that before I actually give up money, I'd have 4 people in an audience, and so actually from giving up money I've actually got a bigger audience than ever, so I think that blows the myth of that money speaks. I think my... Thank you. I think my moneyless journey actually began weirdly and ironically as a budding economist. And that sounds ironic to most people because we think of economy as money, but actually the monetary economy is just but one example of an economy. And what economy is really about is ways of meeting our needs. And so I'm trying to show the world that there's another way of meeting our needs apart from actually using money. But then just as in my last year of my economics degree, I came across a guy called Gandhi his message completely scuppered my plans for world domination and wealth accumulation. And you've no idea how much I hate Gandhi now. He ruined my life. I could have had a great life, you know, like the hotel I stayed in this weekend. And yeah, so instead of going on to Wall Street and making lots of cash, I decided to start to raise awareness about the destructive and inevitable consequences of this tool we call money. And so I set up an alternative economy back in 2007 called Freeconomy, which is now in over 150 countries around the world with very active groups. And its members do things on what we call a paid-forward basis. So instead of always getting something in exchange, we do something and we say, just pay the favour forward. And that's a huge difference in way of thinking. So from, I guess the question you're all asking is, why on earth would you give up money? Why take such an extreme action? And money is a fantastic tool. You know, it has enabled the economies of scale and the division of labour that has facilitated the entire civilization we see before us today. But what is grossly misunderstood is that this tool has got inevitable consequences that gets little or absolutely no attention in the mainstream media. And I guess that's what I'm trying to bring to the world. So people always ask me the question, why do you live without money? And today there's an infinite number of reasons why I live without money. It's not just one anymore. But I'll kind of outline 3 today. The first one was an initial realization that a lot of the social and ecological issues we're faced with today, such as ecological destruction, the massacring of the oceans, sweatshops, factory farms, deforestation, all these things that we pay lip service to actually caring about. These things stem from our delusion that we are separate from nature. We're not separate from nature. And it also stems from the fact that we're very, very disconnected from what we consume. So because of the widening degrees of separation between the consumer and the consumed, we no longer have any real appreciation for the embodied energy, the embodied destruction, the embodied suffering that goes into every stage of the supply chain in the things we buy. We never get to see these people. The tool that enabled this disconnection is money, especially in the global format that we see it today. So I'll give you some examples. If we all had to grow our own food, we wouldn't waste a third of it as we do in the UK right now. If we had to make our own tables and chairs, we wouldn't chuck them out the moment we decided to change the interior decor. If we had to take responsibility for our own drinking water, I doubt most of us would pee and poo in it. It wouldn't make much sense to pee and poo in your own drinking water. And so until we reconnect with what we consume, and what I'm talking about is a completely localized economy, until we reconnect with what we consume, all these symptoms, all these social and ecological symptoms will continue because we're not getting to the root of the problem, which is our separation from nature and our separation from what we consume. We need to localize. I think the second point second major point why I live without money, because I believe that money has now become to replace community as a primary source of security. So over the last 13,000 years, We've had a kind of a gradual erosion of community. I've witnessed this in Ireland over the last just 15 years in the Celtic Tiger economy. And pre-agriculture and the ascent of money, humanity had its security in the earth and in the relationships with people around them. But since agricultural revolution and since the ascent of money, humanity has been striving for independence. It no longer sees itself as interdependent, it's striving for independence. And let me tell you something today, independence is a complete myth. It doesn't exist. At the very, very basic level, we're dependent on earthworms, we're dependent on bees that pollinate our food. We are not independent, and we've got to get away from this illusion of independence. That's a very, very important point for me. And so, yeah, the third main reason why I personally live without money, and this is going to sound quite harsh, but I believe that prostitution is to sex what buying and selling is to giving and receiving. And so, thank you. Yeah, so I'm not calling everybody in the audience a prostitute because they went into the office last week for 8 hours. But actually, in some ways, I guess I also am. Like, we do so many things that we do today, we don't even believe in them anymore. Yet we do them for what is inherently valueless notes and coins that reduces all life to numbers. Like, what kind of life is that we reduce all life to numbers? And if you think of the act, if you think of the difference between making love, and I'm not just talking about having sex, I'm talking about actually really making love and having sex with a prostitute, you can sense the difference of the spirit in the act. You can sense the lack of connection or the increase of connection, how it actually feels as a human being. And that happens every day when we go to a shop and we don't even know the name of the cashier. We have these very, very impersonal relationships. And what I'm trying to get people to imagine is, imagine a world where we give because there's no other reason. A world where the fact that we can actually give to another human being that needs help. What other reason do we need to help somebody than the fact that they need help? Why do we always have to get something in return? And yeah, we're a million miles away from that world in some ways. But in other ways, that world already exists. It happens on a daily basis with family and friends. So can you imagine if you went home on a normal Monday evening and you cook dinner for your partner, and your partner goes to sit down and you say, well, that's actually 10 euros for dinner. Yeah, you would get a very, very curious look. And so the world of free economy already exists. It's just all I'm asking people to do is actually expand. To expand the spirit of unconditional giving to humanity at large. And my message is a very, very simple one. It's not complicated. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to understand it. It's about unconditional giving. It's about giving because what other reason do we need to give other than somebody needs help? And that's probably at the core of my message. Because of time today, that's a very, very small fraction of why I live moneyless. I know most of you guys are a very, very sophisticated audience, and but I know the one question you're probably asking is, how does that guy wipe his bum after he goes to the loo? And it's how I live without money is quite a big question. And people ask me that every day, how do you live without money? And given the time restraints, I've just got to touch on a few things. But for example, food. I grow all my own food. I forage some food from the wild. I do a little bit of bartering, which is not my ideal, but I do a little bit of bartering for things like grains. I live in a off-grid caravan, so I produce my own energy. I cook outside every day. I wash in a river. I've got a wood burner made from an old gas bottle where I chop wood and use the wood to heat my caravan. I cycle sometimes maybe over 100 kilometers a week. I prefer to walk because walking is much slower than even cycling. And as you can imagine, this list goes on and on and on into every kind of crevice of my life. To answer the question of how I wipe my bum, I use either leaves or I use newspaper. I once had the experience of actually, I was cutting off a piece of newspaper, and I was about to give a wipe, and I looked down, and it's a story about me, and it was, as you can imagine, my ugly mugs on the paper, and I thought, there's not many chances in life to have such utter disrespect for yourself. So I was like, so I kept wiping, and it was great to wipe my bum on my face. When I normally do talks, it can take 2 hours of questions and answers to actually answer. For example, I brush my teeth using a mixture of cuttlefish bone, which most people go like, he brushes his teeth with bone and wild fennel seed, and it's interesting because instead of, if you take every aspect of your life, you've got to replace what you normally have, what you normally do with money, with a relationship either with the earth or with the people around you, and it's those bonds. There's an intimacy when you're dependent on people, when you're dependent on the earth. That intimacy and the bonds that are created from those relationships have got, when they're taken away, there's huge social implications of this, and they're grossly misunderstood. I think I've come here today. I haven't come here today to convince an entire room of people to live moneyless tomorrow. I'm an idealist at heart, but I'm also a realist. And I know none of you guys are probably going to go at lunch and burn your wallet and all your credit cards and cash. It's probably not going to happen. Having said that, I think if any of you did want to live moneyless, I'm pretty useless at almost everything I do. If I can manage to live moneyless, trust me, you guys can do a much, much better job than me. But what I've come here to do today is show you that there's many lenses through which you can see the world. So the lens that we've had on for the longest time now is a lens called, how much can I get? And what I'm trying to say to people is that on the table in front of you, there are a number of lenses. If you take off this lens, how much can I get, and stick on a new lens called, how much can I give? Or think you wake up in the morning and you see another lens called, how many people can I make smile today? And I woke up this morning, and you're going to have to help me with this one. I woke up this morning and said, I'm going to make 1,200 people smile at the one time. If anybody isn't smiling, you're incredibly poor people. And so what I want to create is a world where there's no other reason. As I said earlier, what other reason do we need to give than the fact that somebody needs help? Why do we need to get something in return? It's an old mentality, and I'm trying to get people into a new mentality. And so the one thing I'd probably leave you with today would be this: whether you if what you believe is in complete contradiction to what I believe, go and be the change you want to see in the world. Whether you agree or disagree with me, whatever you believe in, whatever you're passionate about, go and be the change you want to see in the world. Have no discrepancy between here, and between here. What the world needs now is action, not words. I think until the soldiers of peace become as brave as the soldiers of war, little is going to change. And every single person in this room, from you to you to you, is a soldier of peace. And I would beg you, please, 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 leave here today and go and be the change you want to see in the world. Go and have courage. Go and put exactly what you believe into action. You would not believe how easy it is that when you actually put what you believe into action, then it can happen. And that's what's going to change the world. It's not going to change from us sitting in bars and talking about it. It's going to come from action. Apply your beliefs into action, and you will change the world. You will change the people around you, and you will change the world. So I beg you, please, please, please help us change this world. The world needs changing. And so I'll leave you. I just wish you all the courage and strength you're going to need to go out there and make this world a better place. Thank you very much.